Was that muted that whole time? That's why it's off. There we go. All right. I'm ready to talk about. All right. I use natural light today.
Let's go. We're here. We took a week off, but we're back at it. The Cameos
Mm.
crew on a Tuesday night. This might be our new normal. TBD. We'll
Yeah.
see. It seems to fit better with everybody except for one of our viewers who is hosting a Dungeons and Dragons for us. Maybe we'll do that coming up. Maybe we could get permission to record our session and we can pop off with some role playing. Anyways,
I'll get canceled for my.
before we get to that, we're getting way ahead of ourselves. This is Cameos, your mostly weekly play by play of happenings in the comic books, anime, movies, and everything else with your two hosts, always O'Shaughnessy and Samson.
Yes, Samson.
Samson.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I know. I kind of like this new time as well. I think this time slot is going to be
Yeah, we have
ideal.
natural light.
We have natural light for now. I'm just feeling
Yes.
more energized. Like it's not the end of the day. So if you are listening to us out there in podcast land, we do stream these live on Twitch and YouTube because YouTube lets you stream on there as well. So if y'all are ever bored on a weekday night, we tend to stream in the wee hours of the Monday and Tuesday. Psych, not really. We're going earlier because we're getting old. But
Mhm.
yeah, come join us. We would love to have you in chat. We like to interact with our chat. So, cool. Well, what are we here? What are we here talking about today? We got two things on the docket, right?
Yes, and we're going to start with the MCU.
What's happening in the MCU?
Yes, there's a bunch of new things going on, a lot of changes, a lot of announcements. that happened that we're going to talk about a little bit.
Yeah, we're on like a hiatus right now from like new MCU shows, so they're just
Yes.
announcing. They're like dripping the stuff that's coming out. They're teasing us.
Yes.
So what have we seen? We've seen a trailer for Miss Marvel.
Which comes out
That's the next one.
yes, 2 weeks, right?
Yep, I think so.
Yeah.
We've
Should
got
be the 8th. So yep.
I think there is
Oh
some
no, sorry, that's next week.
Is there overlap with Obi-Wan? It's going to overlap.
Yeah.
Okay. So Miss Marvel, obviously on Disney Plus. Then what else did we just get? We just got a She-Hulk trailer, which is going to be coming out July. Somebody needs to fact check us. If you want to work on our Cameos team and feed us knowledge in the background.
Checkers.
So yeah, then we got She-Hulk. We'll talk about that trailer because that has gotten August. That's gotten a lot of attention for some stuff, and not in a good way. And then what did we just got? Thor, like a full trailer for Thor.
Yes.
Which thank God, that project looks like it's going to be chef's kiss. God, if that lets me down, so help me. This channel is going to turn into a Star Wars channel. I swear to God. And I think that might be it on the immediate horizon, right?
Yeah. And then there's some character things we'll talk about.
Yes, we've also seen some character developments. They dropped some like who we're gonna see in some of these movies coming up.
Yes.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, we haven't seen anything on Black Panther 2, but that one is it's coming out this year. So we'll probably get a teaser for that one. Yeah, they've been I guess, you know, just to kick it off, I feel like we're getting content like teaser stuff much sooner in advance, or I'm sorry, much later than we normally would. So much closer to the actual debut of the thing. Like we just got our real first look at Thor. Maybe a month or two before the movie.
What trailer one or
even the teaser, right? The teaser didn't come out that long ago.
Nah. And then trailer 2 came out with the full view of Christian Bale as Gore.
Yeah.
The God Butcher, who I thought he looked good, honestly.
Yeah.
He's supposed to look crazier as the film goes on. Because I thought all that looked good. I saw a lot of rumblings or whatever the word is.
Yeah.
On, like
so
Twitter. People didn't actually like how
we can pivot to that for sure, because that I think we're the most excited about. But yeah, I just thought it was weird that we're getting like trailers and stuff like not a year in advance. They're like, you can get it like, and then you're gonna watch the movie next month anyway. So what does it matter? We don't even need a trailer for this movie. But Gore.
Maybe it's because like oversaturation. Also,
I think a lot of delays. I think there's a lot of delays that are pushing stuff.
Too.
Like we've talked about with Doctor Strange getting like rewritten and delayed and reshot. And I know Black Panther obviously suffered huge rewrites and delays because Chadwick Boseman clearly was going to be Black Panther in that movie until he passed away. So that had a whole consequence of things. But anyway, that was just something that I noticed, and I thought that was kind of weird because in the past we would always get like a teaser or a trailer like close to a year before the actual thing came out, but that's not how they're doing it anymore. Gore the God Butcher, though, Thor's main antagonist in this upcoming movie. Yeah, I know that look was controversial because in the comic books he's like got a flat face. He like think of like Lord Voldemort with tentacles is basically what Gore.
Yeah, and like this black hooded thing,
which he gets, but as you said, he gets like crazier looking.
Yeah, as it goes on,
even throughout the comics. I will warn you, I've got like 3 drinks in front of me. I'm probably going to have to pee at some point, so just
I need water. It is hot today, so it's a scorching 100 degrees here, so I need some water.
Scorch.
Yeah, but no, To me, it looked fine. You know, I don't need things to look exactly like the comics. I need things to look good though, and I thought
Hmm.
at the very least he looked good. People say he looked like Quan Chi. Like, what more can you do with like a guy in all white that's bald? Of course he's gonna look like Quan Chi.
So here's what here I was like, I don't know. I didn't really have a dog in the fight because I have not read the
Mm,
comics yet. I'm still working
mm,
through Annihilation right now, which is so far pretty awesome. I think I'm
mm,
about to get where it's like about to pop off.
mm,
But Thor, God of Thunder, which is what this run is taking from the comic book run, if anybody is actually trying to read before it comes out. Thor God
mm.
of Thunder introduces Gore as we described how he looks. The Marvel universe is huge and there's so many characters, but we already met one in the MCU that kind of looks like him. You know who I'm talking about? That I feel like would confuse audiences.
What, the all white figure
They're
in the
like they're
MCU?
just the way that he looks in general. It's what was Thanos' right hand man that was the mind tricks and the dude who's
Oh,
torturing
you
Doctor
think it looks like the
Strange.
Ebony Maw?
Yeah, I think he
Yeah.
shares a lot in common with the like struck like facially. He's got like this alien flat face, no nose, eyes, like a beak, kind of like a thin lipped beak like mouth.
Hmm.
I think somebody mentioned this in a thread that I was reading online about it, and they were just like,
Hmm.
these characters are going to end up looking the same if they people will get confused. You know what I mean? They'll be like, wait, wasn't that the guy from Endgame?
Hmm.
Because I do think
So,
they look similar enough where a lot of people would get confused if they just did a full CGI version of Gore.
so you think that's why they made him look like Quan Chi?
I think I think it was twofold. I do
Mm.
think that they probably teased that in the like the writers board or the artist board up there where they were like, okay, here are designs for Gore. I bet one of them was like, hey, that looks a lot like Ebony Maw. And then I think another reason
That's
is
fair.
that you got Christian Bale acting,
Hmm.
and the dude has been in a lot and he's a very good actor. You don't want to
Yeah,
just
definitely.
CGI him out and then lose a lot of like what you would get,
Hmm.
you know, having him actually just be like he's just got some like white paint on his face. And um
Hmm.
I think that they would lose a lot in translation with that. So I think that was a good decision from that standpoint.
I
And it's
think to
also
me it's like
cheaper
a
probably.
yeah, but it's like a nitpick. Like it's not that serious to
No.
me. It doesn't look bad at the end of the day.
No, and I think that's the most important thing is that it's how it is. It's not whether they're trying to like pay, you know, fan service and making it look exactly like one to one and like ripping lines directly from, you know, the comic book run, which they'll do to a degree. Like they'll definitely do that,
Mhm.
but like it's more about how is it interpreted and then put into the movie. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather see that done well in its own flavor, so to speak,
Mhm.
than just them try to be comically accurate to a T. Because it's like you can't translate these stories or these characters one to one. I
Mhm.
mean, you know, like the way that Gamora looks in a lot of the comic books is like that. You would never. First off, the movies would be like rated R because she's always walking around like just ass cheeks out. Like, and in a lot of the stuff that I'm reading that's got Gamora's just running around like almost basically naked. And then
Mhm.
you got like Drax. You know, I thought their interpretation of Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy was really good. And
Really good. His tattoos change uh between movies, which when he dies in the comics, the markings on his body they change.
see, that's cool. I didn't know that, but that's a
Yeah,
cool way that you can again like
you
interpret,
pay homage
pay
to the
homage in like
comics.
a way that's not like
Mhm.
because if they were to draw it directly from the comics, it's like he's also supposed to be like 9 feet tall. I'm pretty sure the first version of Drax is supposed to be
Mhm.
like 9 feet tall. It's like, all right, well, unfortunately, Batista's a lot of things. He's not nine
But
feet
he's
tall.
not 9 feet tall.
He's
Yeah,
not the mountain that rides.
yeah.
All right, so Gore, we think it looks good. The
Mhm.
trailer made him look really creepy. There was like one scene in particular where he was like smiling,
Mhm.
and that looked super freaky.
Yeah, and Christian
Uh,
Bale's gonna be great. I'm very excited
yeah,
to see
yeah,
that. It's gonna be good.
yeah. I was this. trailer got me back on the hype train for sure.
You off it? Off the hype train before?
Doctor Strange derailed me, man.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And Moon
But I
Knight,
think
Moon Knight hit me with like lukewarm. I liked
okay.
the ending of Moon Knight, I think, more than you did, but on the whole, I mean, you and I
Yeah.
watched those episodes twice each, so
Yeah.
I feel like I got a really good flavor for what that was about. I think Moon Knight
Uh-huh.
just tried to do too much. I think Doctor Strange didn't try to do enough, and I'm
Okay.
hoping that this hits like a nice middle ground where you got Taika Waititi directing again. For those of you who don't remember, he did Ragnarok, which is very, very, very well received and regarded by many people as like their favorite MCU movie. It's definitely up there.
One of the best Thor ones.
Oh, it was the best Thor one.
Probably. I mean, I do like the elves.
You are in such a minority. It's a meme how bad that movie
Love the
is.
elves.
Bro, when Doctor Strange was getting like controversial reviews, all the headlines were like, is this movie worse than Thor the Dark World? Because I don't think Thor the Dark World was as bad as people make it out. Like, I think if you go back and watch it, it'll be better than what you remember it being. I would
Yeah.
probably go back and rewatch the second one before I'd go back and rewatch the first. Just because the first is just kind of boring, and it was just a
The intro.
welcome
All
to
those intro ones
Thor.
were-
He's gonna fight in a
Yeah.
dusty road for half of the movie, but definitely not as much as the third movie. The third movie I've probably seen like half a dozen times.
Mhm.
Honestly, I think I may have seen that more than any other MCU movie.
Which means we can say
Get
that
ready for more.
Love and Thunder will probably be really good. Also, it looks a lot like the comics. I've seen some of the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those stills are
They're
like
ripping directly out.
direct from the comics.
Mhm.
This to me, that's always good when you just pull from the source. And if you like the source, and I've read like I didn't finish the comic run because that's around the time I stopped reading Marvel comics. So I need to finish, but it was a very good trade as I was reading it. So I'm excited for the Thor movie. It looks good.
Yeah. Taika Waititi is like my favorite director right now.
Mhm.
So, yeah, if you haven't watched some of his other stuff, aside from Ragnarok, he did Jojo Rabbit, which was awesome. Very hilariously dark movie.
I love that movie. It's
About
so good.
like this little boy growing up in Nazi Germany had Hitler as like his imaginary best friend, and it's dark, but it's really funny, and it's got a good message. It's got a lot of heart too. It was a very emotional movie, as you might imagine, being about the Holocaust, even if it is kind of like a comedy. But what else did he do? What We Do in the Shadows. He did.
Love that show.
Yeah, both the movie, and he's a producer on
the show.
on the show, which is on FX. Fantastic. Could not recommend that one enough. And then recently, Nicole and I started watching Our Flag Means Death, which is about pirates. I don't want to spoil anything
Very
else,
good.
but holy shit, that might be like my new contender for like favorite shows I'm like keeping up with right now, because it's so great, so refreshing. Somebody had said, and I completely agree, it's a very refreshing take on just like TV. It's not traditional in any way. He did Reservation Dogs too. Chad is saying he did Reservation Dogs. It's about Native Americans on a reservation.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
bunch
I've
of
actually never
kids.
seen that. I was like, Reservoir Dogs. He didn't do that.
He did,
Okay.
yeah, he did Reservoir
What are you
Dogs. He did
talking
Pulp
about?
Fiction. He did Hateful Eight. You know the
This
guy.
doesn't sound right.
You know
Okay.
him. No, Reservation Dogs I've seen promoted on FX. I didn't know he did that
Okay.
too.
Okay.
He's acting in he plays one of the main roles in Our Flag Means Death, which is amazing. Again, I don't want to.
He appears in a lot of the stuff that he does.
Yeah, he always does like a cameo. So like in Thor Ragnarok,
Yeah.
he was the voice of Korg. And then obviously when Korg was back, Korg is going to be in this movie too. It looks like playing at least a partial role. So we'll get more of him there. What We Do in the Shadows, the movie, he was one of the vampires. Yeah, dude's just awesome. New Zealand is like popping off with comedy right now. They're like the comedy mecca as far as I'm concerned. All right, so that's enough on Thor, though. We've talked to hell and back about Thor.
Yeah.
Um,
And I'll bring up Taika later too in our second half.
okay.
Just because he's working on something else.
Oh yeah. When we get into,
But yeah, we'll get into it.
The only other thing I wanted to say about Thor, because I did want to call out, Jane is absolutely yoked, and her like shotgun Mjolnir move looks dope. Did you catch that? Like when she's standing in the like amphitheater in front of Zeus, and she's like fighting, and she like has the Mjolnir, which has been like put back together, obviously, and she like does that, and it just like shoots out like a shotgun. That looks cool.
Yeah, I assume because it was broken, she can now send out the pieces. That's
right.
tight.
And instead of calling back the entire hammer, she can call back like the pieces into it. It's gonna be off the wall. It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah. Taika said something along the lines of, "I can't believe Disney let me get away with this when I was making this movie." So I'm really curious to see what the hell that means. Cool. What else do we have? We got so
before we continue, shout out to my goddaughter Nami. It's her birthday today.
Oh, hey.
So happy birthday, Nami. Also, happy birthday to the Pirate King, her grandfather, as well. Just throw that out there.
Happy birthday to
y'all.
Little Alice. Alice in Wonderland.
Yes. And since we're talking about Little Misses, let's talk about Miss Marvel.
Little Miss. Wow, what a segue.
You see the segue?
Couldn't have written that. Yeah, we write all this down. It's all scripted. This is all scripted. Miss Marvel. All right, coming out next.
Is the next thing that comes out. Literally next week.
I don't know about you. I could not have cared less about this show when the first trailer came out, but the second one got me a little bit more curious, I will say. I at least now want to know how it goes. The first one, I was just like, it didn't do it for me at all.
I think for me, it's because I know that Miss Marvel's an Inhuman, or in the comics she's an Inhuman. I really wish that she was going to be Inhuman in the show. And looking at both trailers, you can very clearly see that she's not an Inhuman. She gets some type of like band that gives her ability. So they're probably trying to tie in more cosmic stuff.
So I was gonna.
Go ahead.
No.
I would say I'm assuming that. Well, I say all that to say that's why I'm kind of excited, but not really, just because I wish she was an Inhuman, so that we could have like all of the Inhumans like really in this in a good way, because that show is trash. The show is absolutely terrible.
Yeah,
and we didn't get a good show of Black Bolt and Doctor Strange either. It just got worse. So I'm like, we need the humans need to be given some justice. It's not fair. They're not that trash.
It does not seem like she's going to be an Inhuman. Unless we're getting a total misdirect on these trailers. She gets her powers from some bracelets. Which
are probably the Nega bands.
I don't know what that is, but what I was thinking is there's a superhero called Quasar who has like cosmic enchanted bracelet. Is that the same thing? Does he wear those?
No, Quasar wears the quantum bands. So the quantum bands and the Nega bands. Okay. I was like, maybe it's the quantum bands so that they could easily introduce Quasar. And like, I know at some point, Captain Marvel or Moondragon, one of the two functions as Quasar. So they wear the band. Like Quasar.
Moondragon is supposed to be Drax's daughter. Yes. And I'm pretty sure that Guardians set the canon that his daughter's dead. I mean, they can always come back and say she didn't actually die, but like she's very much not dead in a lot of the comic book run, and she turns into Moondragon. And
she's like dating Captain Marvel or somebody. A lot happens in those comics, but Quasar has the quantum bands. That's why I was talking to someone about this. Shout out to the homie Justin. It's probably the Nega bands, and I think I agree, because the Nega bands, as you can see in the trailer, you can like, it's like she creates like projections of like tangible things like giant hands, and it simulates her like comic abilities where she stretches and her hand turns huge. But the Nega bands do that. It's like stuff that's tangible that is being created by her. So I'm thinking it's the Nega bands, and that's how they bring in more cosmic characters into the verse. because I know they want to go the cosmic route.
And yeah, we'll talk about. I mean, this might be a good segue to talk about Will Poulter coming in as Namor.
No. Adam Warlock. He's playing Adam Warlock in the upcoming films. Also, and you should see the Negabands, by the way. Actually, because
in Guardians.
You're reading Annihilation, and I'm pretty sure Annihilus gets a form of the Negabands, and the chat saying like Green Lantern. Yes, the Negabands essentially do what the Green Lantern Green Lantern rings allow the Lanterns to do.
Yeah, how accurate are her powers to like the comics? Like, I know she does shape shifting and stuff like that. Is that all just part of her
comics? No, comics. She's essentially Reed Richards, right? With the stretching, she can stretch and make her body like parts of her body huge. So she usually does on her hands.
So maybe that's why they rewrote her to not just have the same powers as Reed Richards, because we know we're going to get a Fantastic Four movie.
It could be, but I also think they just don't want to dive into the Inhumans anymore. I don't think the comic run was successful also. So, and the show clearly wasn't successful.
Yeah, I watched a trailer for it because I did not watch Inhumans.
It's terrible.
I watched the trailer and I was like, I'm glad I missed this one. It literally looked like something that had come out like 20 years ago on like Sci-Fi After Hours or like UPN. It just looked so bad.
And honestly, the show could have been over in episode 1 because Black Bolt is not stupid and he's not weak.
Yeah.
Like it's just dumb. But
how did he talk in the show? Did he sign language?
He sounds a little bit. Also, like his brother can read his mind, and then his wife just knows what he's thinking. So usually his wife speaks for him. His wife or brother speak for him. Sometimes he'll sign. He just doesn't speak. But he's like, they don't do him justice. But at least the Ms. Marvel like comic story, her background, like she's like a super Captain Marvel fan. She's still that in the show. And the whole reason she becomes a hero is because she idolizes Captain Marvel. That's all the same. The only thing that looks different is her ability.
Yeah. And obviously where she's from. Well, so I guess I don't even know that it's worth talking about the Inhumans anymore, but like she was born on Earth, but there are like inhuman genes amongst Earthlings, correct?
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, and there was like a Terrigen mist that got scattered throughout the world
that
and
unlocked everyone's powers.
Right? Yes. So to avoid having to do that, that's why I assume they just like, forget it. She got here, Negabands. Come forth.
This one feels like a pretty big shakeup to me, and somebody who doesn't even know the comic book background. I don't know, man. Is this like the biggest deviation from a character's origin that we've had thus far in the MCU? Because this seems like going from A to Z. Like they're not even trying to like bridge the gap of like, oh, they kind of like stretched what she does. You know what I mean? Like to me, this seems like just a completely different character, and they're using some of the backstory.
I'll say Scarlet Witch and Pietro are still the biggest deviations to me because
that's true.
They are introduced as mutants, and then they have to retcon Scarlet Witch's ability after Avengers 2.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, until they retcon that, like it's going to be wild if they don't somehow say that her dad is Magneto at some point if we get an X-Men thing, which we still don't even know if we are.
We're getting a Mutants movie at some point because it's been announced, but we don't know how that'll work. There's a lot going on, but I think that's still the biggest to me because at the very least, Ms. Marvel, even though she doesn't stretch, the way she's using those Negabands, it looks like, giant hands and stretching in the same way. So we'll see how it goes next week. I think it'll be.
Second trailer got me more excited. That's all I'll say. The first one just seemed like we were gonna rehash like Spider-Man Homecoming. Like I was just like, we already had a kid in high school being in high school and being a superhero on the side. I was like, I feel like I've seen that. I don't need that again. But second trailer just showed that there's a little bit more to it. So we'll see. That She-Hulk trailer, that CGI though.
It looks terrible.
Yeah. So initial impressions for me, I think I would be like 8 out of 10 excited for this if the CGI looked better, but the way that is like panning out right now with it looks like they're doing some kind of weird facial mapping thing. It's unclear if it's an actual actress that they're like bodying over that's just like really tall, but the animation seems off. The facial like the facial emotions just seem really weird in some of the scenes. I have seen some defenses to that, that when the trailer is, they put these trailers out on YouTube and it compresses the shit out of it. So like it goes from looking like crystal clear in the ProRes Final Cut version that they give to YouTube and they upload. It comes out really washed out and you lose a lot of the details, which I think is particularly tough on this one because you've got like, it's not Bruce Banner Hulk where he's got lines in his head. Like it's not a 40-year-old dude. This is supposed to be like a 20 to early 30 something year old woman that like has no lines on her face or any of those kind of details. So I think it pushes it into that like uncanny valley so that when you see it and it just seems off enough, it's like really, really jarring as opposed to like what they can do with Bruce Banner's Hulk, which one, they had the budget to make that character from Endgame and Infinity War, which I'm assuming they don't have that budget for this show. And then two, like I said, he's got way more features on his face. You know what I mean? And he's supposed to not look like a dude who's green. He's supposed to be like half Hulk, half human. And it's like, you can suspend the disbelief a little bit more. But when I see her green like that, it's just, there's something like off-putting about it is the best way I can describe it.
I think they'll fix it, honestly. I feel like they just rushed the trailer out. Let's capitalize off the excitement for
the ProRes version. I saw stills. The ProRes version looked better. Like there were more details there than what we saw in the trailer. But the animation stuff, I don't know. I don't know if you can fix that in like how long ago did that come out? A couple weeks ago. Show's coming out in like a month.
I think they can touch it up. Look at what they did with Ugly Sonic, and then
that was a whole Sonic year. Film. That took like a whole year for them to redo that.
It would give us a whole film, I don't know. I think they could do it. I think they probably already shot everything, and they work the CG every week to get it just right. I'm gonna have faith that it's gonna look good.
I think it's not gonna be great, but aside from that, I was really excited just about the premise of the show. I like that we get Bruce Banner back. I personally like Smart Hulk, so I'm glad we get to see more of him. I thought that was a fun, interesting character. I thought that the dynamic between them looks like it's going to be good. She looks like she's going to be a good actress. I like the premise of it. I like the story of this. It's like,
what does the story look like to you? Does it look like the comic where someone tries to attack her and then she almost dies, so Bruce gives her blood,
right?
And then she transforms, and now he's just teaching her how to.
I'm less interested in her, like how she acquired her powers, because it'll probably be something like that. We saw in the trailer like she's in some car accident that looks really rough, or it's not her, but like a car just goes like careening off the road. It's probably going to pay homage to the comic books where the same thing happens, and then Bruce is her cousin, and therefore the only person who can like donate blood for some reason, but we'll go with it.
I think he's just there at the time. They have the same blood type. So
bada bing, bada boom. She gets basically a minor dose of the gamma radiation that's like in his blood, and it turns her into like a more stable version of Hulk. I'm less concerned with how that plays out. They'll do something there that I don't think I'll have an issue with, but I like the idea of she's a lawyer for criminals, like for supervillains, and I think that's an interesting take that we've explored different aspects of what it's like to be on Earth 616. You know what I mean? Like I really liked those Netflix series like Daredevil and Luke Cage, and I won't say I liked them on the whole, but I liked that they explored like the smaller microcosm of like the aftermath of some of these events. Like Daredevil literally picks up right after Avengers and like building an empire off of this shit that's happening on the side. We've not actually seen this explored, where it's like, okay, well, there's supervillains, that's established. What does the penal system look like for the Abomination, for example, who it looks like she's going to be defending? I'm excited for that. I think that's a dope concept.
Is she defending him? Because he's been running around with Wong, and I'm assuming like
I think Wong has been sneaking him out. I think Wong has been sneaking him out of that jail to like side hustle like they did in Shang-Chi. Because you see him like open up the portal in Shang-Chi, and it's like it's that cell that he's in the trailer in this for She-Hulk.
So he opens up he takes him out for a second, puts him right
takes
back in
him
the
out,
cell.
Does a cage fight, rigged cage fight, and then puts him back. The Sorcerer Supreme, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
Wong has got that side hustle going strong.
Okay.
I personally, that's what I'm looking forward to for it.
Okay.
I think it's a cool concept. You seem less enthused.
As long as things follow the comics, I'm usually excited.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming like they're gonna follow the comics exactly, and then we get a new hero. Adds to MCU. A new Avenger team forms at some point.
She was, I feel like in all the stuff that I'm reading, like she's more a part of the Avengers than the Hulk is or
Hulk's
was.
not on the planet at one point.
Hulk's usually off.
Smart Hulk that you get comes from this Sakaar where he gets pissed because his spaceship blows up and kills his wife.
Right.
So
that was Planet Hulk,
smart.
Right?
Yep, which is what Thor Ragnarok takes place on the Planet Hulk. That part of the Hulk story where he like goes away. The Illuminati sends him away, and then he survives on Planet Hulk, gets pissed, takes over the planet because his blood like brings life. All this stuff happens, but I forgot where I was going. I'm excited. I just want to see another trailer, see what's going to happen, see what's next. You know,
I want to see another trailer with improved CGI, and then I'll be on board.
I think they got time. They're doing this. This will come out in August. So
okay, we should put 5 on it. We should put 5 on how bad
let's put 5 on it.
The CGI is going to be. But then you're just going to be like, I don't think it's that bad.
Because you're right.
I will admit if I think that it comes out better. I can admit when I'm wrong. I will be like, yep, it actually doesn't look that bad. I thought so far like the weakest CGI to me has been some of the stuff that we saw on Moon Knight. Unfortunately, there were a couple takes in there that just weren't that great.
Yeah,
and I think
that purple stuff was terrible.
The jackal juice, you mean?
Yeah, that was terrible.
Summon the jackal power.
What is this? What is this purple?
Can we go back to that really quick? That never paid off. The fact that he just summoned jackals, we were like, oh, he's gonna be Anubis. We had all these theories, and then they were just like, nah, he just likes jackals, I guess. Missed opportunity. That show tried to do way too much. All right, so last but not least, something we haven't gotten trailers for yet, but
we heard the news.
Black Panther, Wakanda 5 Ever.
What?
Namor is going to be introduced.
Yes.
Which is, why don't you give the 411 on Namor?
It's likely that he'll probably be a main antagonist, honestly. So we'll see. But
because he always butted heads with
Wakanda. Yes, but they're changing his origin. But they're just changing the Atlantean part, because if you don't know, Namor is the Submariners King of Atlantis in the MCU. To avoid confusion with Aquaman, even though Namor came out first, they're not going to reference Atlantis. They're going to use like a Mexican or a South American civilization, which I don't remember which one it is, but they'll use that as his backstory. So he's half that, still has a human parent, I think, but he should also still be a mutant. If you don't know, Namor is a mutant. So that could be our Black Panther. Wakanda Forever could be our intro into mutants. I'm a huge X-Men fan, so I really hope that in some way they reference him as being a mutant.
Mutated. Were all the Atlanteans mutants, or
that I don't remember. I just know Namor specifically is a mutant, and he's like strong. He has like powers, like he can do extra stuff.
And he's a dick.
Yes, he is. He's always trying to smash Sue Storm.
He's like a king that just has no chill. And just is like a complete asshole, like wherever he shows up. I think that'll be cool.
Yes.
It'll basically be like Tony Stark with the lid taken off, which should be cool.
And Namor was also a member of the Illuminati, and that's why I was hoping like he was going to be in Doctor Strange too. He wasn't. I was disappointed. The chat saying something about the King of Rape. No, Namor never at any point attempts to rape Sue Storm or force himself on Sue Storm. He is a king of R. Sorry, I don't know. I guess I can't say it, but he doesn't do anything to Sue Storm. He never actually does anything.
He's just thirsty. He's simp. He's a simp for Sue Storm. I know you can't say that word on Twitch. You can get banned.
Definitely cannot say that word on Twitch
for some reason. God help us.
He's a king. He doesn't have to take it. He never has to take it unwillingly. But I love Namor as a character, so I'm excited that, especially to see him in Black Panther. I'm curious what they're going to do with that. I'm sure they're not going to change T'Challa, so they'll probably go with Shuri is a new Black Panther. I know the woman from Chewing Gum. Her name escapes me.
The one that was in Falcon and Winter Soldier. The one with well, I guess they all had shaved heads. That doesn't really help narrow it down.
Michaela Cole. She is an actress. Her show is called Chewing Gum. Sorry. But she's also in Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. I don't remember the role, or I don't even know if they've announced the role that she's playing.
Is she not the main chick?
No,
the Spear sister? Okay.
No.
Who is that?
That's the woman from Walking Dead. And her name.
I don't think I watched Walking Dead that far then, because I don't recognize her from that. But her
name is Danae Garai.
She was in Civil War. She was obviously in Black Panther. She showed up. She was in the female empowerment scene in Endgame. And then she was in Falcon and Winter Soldier. She was in 2 or 3 episodes of Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, she's probably still in it, but she's one of the Dora Milaje.
Spear sisters.
Yes. But I heard Michaela Cole's in there, but her role isn't announced, and I think we're getting Ironheart as well in Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
I don't know anything about Ironheart. It's a girl that gets the Tony Stark treatment.
Yes, it's a little black girl that was able to recreate the arc reactor technology and then build her own Iron Man suits.
So was she just really smart, and she was able to basically reproduce Tony's stuff? Is that sum up her thing?
Yes, she's really
smart. What
if
they just make Shuri that instead of making her the Black Panther?
What if they make Shuri Ironheart?
Yeah, because she's the genius from Wakanda. It would make sense for her to reverse engineer Tony's stuff.
So I'll say they don't need to reverse engineer anything that Tony does because his tech is lesser than theirs, right? So Black Panther's suit is better than Tony Stark's suit. Everyone in Wakanda is smarter than Tony Stark, right? So Black Panther, in the MCU, T'Challa is one of the 7 smartest people in the world, right? So it's T'Challa, Hank Pym, Reed Richards, Doctor Doom, Bruce Banner, Beast, and then Amadeus Cho's in there. Tony is nowhere near that list, so that's why her recreating Tony's technology, that's cool. Make your Iron Man suits, do whatever. But Shuri she puts on that Black Panther suit because it's infinitely better.
Yeah,
like it doesn't take damage. It reflects, it bounces everything off. So, and she has the super soldier formula in there as well.
Bro, this next phase of these movies is going to be like that scene at the end of Endgame where like all the girls square up, but that's going to be like every movie. I mean, think about how many female leads have just been introduced in what we have and what we know. Like everything that we've talked about up to now, except for Thor, She-Hulk, Miss Marvel. You got Kate Bishop, Shuri, Ironheart. It's a lot.
Yeah.
At the center stage. I feel like I'm missing one or two as well. But
women being introduced in the MCU. Everyone that's going to be in the Captain Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Which
Captain Marvel's still doing something somewhere.
What's that? I don't know why that girl's name escapes me.
Well, I'm excited for what we got to come. The next show, I'm just hoping they pay a little bit more attention to some of the finer points. I think there were some instances in Moon Knight where I was particularly like, okay, did we need this? Could we, you know what I mean? Like, could we have explored something else instead of going down this route? They just tried to do a lot and cram it all in there. And overall, I liked the ending, but I don't know that I appreciated the whole story put together in the same way that I did for some of their earlier projects, i.e. WandaVision and Loki. None of them have had that, like, and even Falcon and Winter Soldier, the story was terrible. The villain was the worst, but at least it was like a nice.
The villain wasn't very good.
The villain was the worst. I think I was watching this podcast called the MCU Crew, and they were like, "It's the worst. She's the worst villain in the MCU." The chick that gets introduced in Falcon Winter Soldier.
And it really didn't make sense to me.
It was so bad. It was just the worst. They should have just made Zemo the bad guy or something. Sharon Carter, anybody else.
No, Sharon Carter was the bad guy.
The after credits bad guy, or Madame Hydra. But anyway,
I look forward to what they do with Madame Hydra. Oh, also the chat is asking if Morbius is going to be in Captain Marvel. No, Morbius is not going to be anything. And also that brings up a good segue, not segue, but I remember hearing that Morbius and like Sony removed all references to like the
blip
the blip in the multiverse because it's stupid. So you won't see Morbius in any MCU thing, especially.
They went back and pulled it out of the copies that they distributed to theaters. I don't even know what they're doing, man. Wild.
Good,
well,
because that was stupid.
We'll end this segment on Morbin time because it's no longer Morbin time. So yeah, thanks for hanging out for MCU happenings. It's been real on that one, so we're gonna close that out. Peace.
Yeah, Excelsior.
See you next time. Excelsior. Bing bong. Excelsior. Cool. All right, but. Let's talk about, it's been a little bit, you and I. So one other, I mean, there's been a ton that's come out lately. We still need to figure out what else we're going to be covering in these coming weeks. Yeah. But we are now we're officially a Star Wars podcast. This is Cameos, where we are talking about, I don't know. I wish I had a clever acronym for just Star Wars stuff. Chat, you should give me a Cameos acronym for just Star Wars crap. We are Coruscant, Anakin,
and
Moon Destroyer, Moon Killer Base. Wasn't that one of them? Or was it Star Killer Base?
I don't know. Whatever was stupid. Oh, Menace. We're Menace.
The Menace. Menace, yes. Phantom. And everything else.
Yes.
Chat, I designate you have a job. Make a Cameo Star Wars acronym because we're going to probably be covering this every week. Yes. I am O'Shaughnessy. This is Samson. Let's talk through Star Wars, the Obi-Wan saga, episodes 1 and 2, which premiered on Disney Plus this past week.
Mm-hmm.
Just got an accolade for the most watched premiere of a show in a single weekend, according to viewership data that Disney collected. It makes sense. The first 2 episodes are an hour each, and they release them at the same time. So it's not it's not actually that mind-blowing that they just had a couple extra people watching it, because this one has been hype. I would say more than any other Star Wars project. I was the most surprised by this one, and definitely the most looking forward to it. I was probably looking forward to this more than some MCU projects, to be honest, because like you, I think I grew up on these prequel movies, which introduced me to the larger Star Wars canon.
Did we grow up on them? I feel like they got re-released.
The prequel movies came out when I was in
4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, they came out when we were in middle school.
I thought 4, 5, and 6 came out. Hold on, let me check.
I'm
they came out in the
myself.
70s. That's what I said. They re-released them.
No, okay. I'm talking about. I'm sorry.
About 1, 2,
I'm
and
not
3?
talking about 4, 5, and 6. I'm talking about 1, 2, and 3.
Okay,
which is where we get introduced to Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen. And so this show picks up immediately after the events of movies 1, 2, and 3. You get a nice little recap, bringing you up, catching you up to speed. So unlike what Sam was going to do, you do not need to go back and watch. You went back and watched all 3 movies?
Of course.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Because Phantom Menace is probably the best Star Wars movie ever.
Parts
Jar
of it.
Jar Binks.
Parts of it. No.
Jar Jar Binks
So I know you're lying.
The most Force-sensitive person in the verse.
If Jar Jar Binks is
cannot
not
be
a
beat.
Sith at the end of this series, I walk.
He needs to be in there using the Force in some way. I don't care how.
You're
But yeah, I did
like
watch.
shit.
I did watch all 3. I fell asleep with the last one because it's terrible. But
the last one and the first one had some of the best moments, like the fight with Yoda and who the hell was he fighting? Sidious. That was fucking
Dooku.
dope.
Oh,
Didn't he fight Sidious at the end of the third one?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Got washed.
And they played the best song, Duel of the Fates. Like that iconic thing. They only play that in the first movie and the last movie. They don't play it in the second one at all. I would say the second one, I think, is the best. Like, you can just watch it and not hate every minute of it. Dude, the whole thing that happens on Coruscant. We're getting way off topic here, but the first movie was such a mess. The first movie also introduced midichlorians.
Genius.
Where things just started, they were just like, well, George Lucas has clearly lost his mind.
Liam Neeson had already hunted all the Black Jedi, so only Mace is left.
What?
That's why
George Lucas confirmed racist. Cancel him. Okay.
Sorry, can I say I'm still mad that Mace dies. It really bothers me. He was winning the fight. He had to get jumped.
Yeah.
They jumped him. I hate that. But
I appreciate the fact that 2 things about Mace before I guess we talk about Obi-Wan, because we're talking about the prequels right now.
Sorry.
Samuel L. Jackson picked the color of his lightsaber. He when they cast him, he was like, "What color is my lightsaber?" George Lucas was like, "Well, the good guys either have blue or green," and Samuel L. Jackson was like, "I think I should have a purple one." And that's how he got the only purple lightsaber in the Star Wars canon. I think that's awesome. Second thing that I think is awesome is they like wrote him in to be like the best lightsaber, like one of the strongest people, one of the most like challenging people to fight with a lightsaber. He wasn't necessarily the most force strong, but like he would fuck you up with a lightsaber. Beheads what is it, Jango Fett?
Yep.
He had some dope scenes, and yeah, they did him dirty at the end there, but he definitely.
Chat is saying that Samuel Jackson would do the role unless he died in the end.
Oh, maybe.
So I guess that's why.
So they just had to send him out with a bang. Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe the character was already written to be a complete fucking badass, but
okay.
There have been rumors that he's not actually dead. He might come back like without an arm. Be all messed up. I don't know. We're not talking about that here today.
Yeah.
At the end of the last movie, Obi-Wan fighting our boy Anakin. Legless.
With the high ground.
With the high ground, which totally makes a difference when you can do 30-foot somersaults into the air.
So I got to reference the first movie again, because the same instance where I think it was, what's his name? Darth Maul had the high ground, and it clearly meant nothing.
Yeah.
Because Obi-Wan just, I'm going to jump out of here. Give me this lightsaber. You're dead. And so the high ground only matters if Obi has it. If anyone else has it, it doesn't matter.
There is some serious suspension of disbelief that happens at times in the Star Wars universe. You just have to be like, must be something to do with the Force. Maybe he distracted him with the Force. But
the midichlorians.
His midichlorian count is very high.
Off the charts. Higher than Anakin's, actually. If he has a high ground, his midichlorian count raises by a factor of 10.
Yeah, they should just introduce scouters, and they could be like, his midichlorian count, it's in the millions.
Field advantage. Sorry, back into Obi-Wan. I'm sorry.
No. I was just gonna say that I found it strange that. Well, let's just jump right ahead to the ending of the second episode, because that's basically where shit fully kicks off, and then we can work backwards. But like,
I think so that's my question. Then we have the same. Go ahead, I'd say it.
The ending question of the second episode.
Yes.
Where we get the big surprise. Obi-Wan learns that Darth Vader isn't dead. Mm-hmm. Now.
And learns that Darth Vader is Anakin at the same time.
Right.
And that's where I was confused, because how does Reva know that Anakin?
Oh, you're bothered by totally different things than what bothered me. I'm like, I know
that's what bothered me. Like, how does she know that?
Yeah, totally. I don't think anybody was. I mean, so she's one of the Inquisitors, right? And it's like a group that's like really, really close to the like inner circle. So maybe you could explain that she's supposed to know. But as far as Obi-Wan not knowing that Anakin was still alive, or that Anakin was Darth Vader. Okay, first off, you had to have heard of Darth Vader at this point. Like, if your job is literally to protect this boy on this planet, even if it's a bumblefuck middle of nowhere planet, like, how are you doing your job if you don't know that there's some like crazy powerful dude out there running around the galaxy? How have you not heard of Darth Vader? Would be one. And then two, how would you not make the connection of like, that sounds a lot like Anakin Skywalker, and be like, he's clearly still alive.
I'll talk more about something else that threw me off, but I think seeing it, and it's actually playing on my TV right now, it's awkward, but I think I'm watching it and I'm like, I don't remember in episode 4 Obi-Wan like actually knowing that Darth Vader was Anakin Skywalker at all. I don't remember
whether he ever found out.
Yeah, I don't remember him actually finding out. So I had assumed that he always thought he was dead. And I can understand if it's like Darth Sidious and Darth Vader, that's all you know, right? And it's just, there's always a Sith. And then, all right, so the chat is telling me that he did know. Okay, so I guess this is how they introduced that knowing. So that's something I didn't know. I thought he never actually knew.
Yeah, I think he makes allusions to that in like the original trilogy when he's talking to Luke, and he's like, I
haven't seen the original since like 98.
Yeah, so he's like, he basically is like, I fucked up, and he knows that he turned Anakin evil.
All right, that's fair then.
I'm just a little confused about this timeline where he's been hiding out for, at this point, like 10 years, and he's never heard of Darth Vader, or hasn't put together the fact that
I think he just didn't put it together, because if there's always a Sith and then their apprentice. Mm-hmm. So if there's just an apprentice named Darth Vader, you don't assume that it's Anakin because you thought you watched him burn to death. But he didn't burn to death. He lived. Now you
he
know
left
that
him alive. He was alive the last
He was
time
alive,
Obi-Wan
but-
saw him.
alive but burning to death.
So
You know
that's
what I mean?
also
Like,
just fucked up. Like, just walk away and be like,
Suffer.
I had the high ground. Now you have to burn to death. I don't know, man. That reveal to me was just, it fell a little flat because I was like,
Mhm.
this is how he's finding out.
Mhm.
Let's backtrack though. So that's the big reveal
Okay.
at the end of the second episode. The first episode we get introduced to Obi-Wan since Order 66 is going on. He's watching Luke from afar and trying to protect him from,
Real creepy, like.
I guess not Darth Vader. Whether he knows about him or not, it's
Oh
unclear.
yeah, sorry. This is the other thing. What you gonna protect anyone from if you can't use the Force? Like, why are you even here at this point?
Yeah, that was
You're
a
just
little weird.
creepy old man if you can't use the Force.
I did like I liked the nod to you see one of the clone troopers like begging for money. I think that might have been in the second episode. But I thought that was a pretty cool nod back to some of the earlier stuff played by the same guy that played Boba Fett, Jango Fett. I thought that was really cool. I don't know. I liked the first episode. I'll say that. I think it set everything up well. I think it laid the groundwork for a lot of stuff. And I was like, all right, I want to see where this is going. I thought the little girl put on a really good performance in the first episode. I was like, damn, this little 10-year-old can act. In the first episode, I was all on board.
Oh, and sorry, Chad is saying like, it looks like Chad agrees with me about Reva. How did she know that top echelon information? Because this needs to know basis that Anakin Skywalker is Darth Vader.
Yeah, I feel like
that's what I'm saying. Like, how does she? She's like what, third sister? She's third sister, and they don't even respect her.
Yeah,
they call her garbage.
I do not like her.
She's like thirsty for Obi.
I thought that the Inquisitors were like much closer to, like, you know, they would get to know. They'd be in the know. Maybe I'm wrong.
We'll see more in later episodes. I'm sorry. Back to the first episode.
No,
I love Layla.
She was an awesome actress in that first episode, and I liked the way that they set things up. The two chase scenes that have been in this show have got to be the worst chase scenes of anything that I have ever seen. Like,
they can't catch this little girl.
Nobody can catch this little girl who's running like she's got stick legs. Like, I don't know.
Layla is squirmy, yo. You're not catching her. She's a juke, and
she's like running like Pinocchio with like puppet arms. Like,
yeah.
And the guys are just branches. they're like very clearly like trying not to catch her. They're like, oh no, she's getting away. And like they're like, nah, man. They're like in a dream
where only kids can go. Only kids.
I like the slide. Did you see that slide move she did down like the side of a hill in the first episode?
Genius. Layla's top tier character.
It's like she's running it like
in the show.
She's running it like half of a clip. The chase scenes are so bad. None of these adults can catch a fucking 10-year-old. You should not be doing your job. You're out. You're fired. You're done. You have one job. Catch this girl who's running
catch this
an
genius.
idiot.
Put respect on her name. She is a genius.
And then the second chase scene, it's the same thing where like Obi-Wan is like, no, wait, come back. And she's just like, haha. Too fast, but she's like not moving that. Like he's like purposefully not trying to fully reach for her in like any of those scenes. It was the dumbest. It was so painful to watch.
That's how geniuses move, man. Respect Layla and her
chase
genius.
Scenes were garbage. They were bad.
Respect the genius.
They totally brought down the entire first two episodes for me with how bad those like chases were.
No, respect the genius of Layla, man. Respect her genius.
What is genius? What is genius?
Genius is sliding down the mountain to get away.
Is genius running away from the dude that just freed you into some like undercity that you don't know anywhere about? Is that genius?
I'm lunching. I keep saying Layla. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm like, I'm lunching.
I know what you're talking about.
Leia. I am so sorry.
Leia.
And no, genius is uh calling your cousin out after he tries to tell you you're adopted.
She was running like she had poop in her pants, and they were afraid that they would touch that poop in her pants if they picked it. That's very true. They were trying to catch her, like they were trying to pick her up with like tongs or something. Like, don't touch her. It was bad, man. It was bad.
I enjoyed it.
I'll give the first episode credit where credit's due. I like that it sets things up. I thought the writing and directing was really cool. I like how we got reintroduced to Obi-Wan. I liked the introduction to Leia. Luke is over there being like a dumbass. Just like, I like our introduction to Luke is just like,
yeah, I want to ride spaceships.
Like the parents are like on the other side of the house doing the worst job looking for him. By the way, they're like, Luke, just they don't turn around. Anyway, I thought the first episode was good. I had no issues up until that chase scene at the very end of the first episode.
I like the chasing, and someone in the chat and I agree with this theory. The theory is that Reva was one of the children that escaped from the little Jedi Academy as a Padawan. So she's a child in the beginning. Remember, there's like 5 kids that run away.
I forgot about that.
The chat thinks Reva's one of those children. I agree. I think that's why she's like so actively trying to catch Obi-Wan and trying to prove herself, and that's why the Inquisitor thinks she's garbage anyway.
Let's talk about Reva.
I like her. I don't know why she got all this racist
it's not
Twitter
about
talk.
What, people are getting on her because it's a black chick?
Yeah, as soon as a black person picks up a lightsaber, people come out the woodworks.
Man, that was ridiculous. The biggest disservice that they didn't do in the newest 3 movies was like make Finn
an actual Jedi. It's the only reason I watched the movie.
In the trailers. And then they were just like, can't have that. The internet will be mad. No, it has obviously nothing to do with her race or gender or anything like that. I don't know if it's the writing or directing, like nothing against her as an actress, but like I'm not really on board with the plight. It's not tracking for me. I like the idea of it, but I think I'm having issues with the execution of like how they're like playing it out.
How so? Like how adamant she is about catching Obi-Wan and everything she's doing.
Some of the decisions I feel like are kind of silly and stupid, and that she's making and that the other Inquisitor is making. It's just, I just feel like I'm being force-fed this story, and it's like, okay, I get it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like they emphasize the same thing like 3 times, and it's like, it's just too on the nose. Like, okay, she's clearly not like on the same tier as these other Inquisitors as far as they're concerned. I got that. I just feel like there's better ways to work that into a story than what we've gotten so far. I feel like what we've gotten so far is like finger in the face, you suck. And that's basically what her story is so far. And she's like, I'm going to get mines. And she's like pointing right back at the camera saying it. It's just a little too direct for me. I just feel like it could be told a little bit better. I'm sure as the story goes on, we'll learn more about her backstory. I think it would be cool what you said. If she ends up being one of those Jedis running away, that's fine. Like I said, I don't think it's the actress's issue. I think it's like the writing and directing that they're giving her that I'm just like, it's not doing it. Like, I won't remember this at the end of it. You know what I mean? Like, I won't remember her plight when this is all said and done. It's just, it's been fine, which is, I think, what I can say about my feelings on the show so far is that it's fine.
Well, I see the chat thinks is actually her acting. I don't agree, actually. I think she's a great actress because I remember her in she was in Queen's Gambit. She was great in that to me.
Who was she in Queen's Gambit?
The friend.
Oh my God, she was. Yeah. So like okay, there you go. Friend. There you go. I thought she was. I thought she was good in Queen's Gambit.
And I think she's the anger and rage to me is there, but it's like a immature type of anger rage. Like, she's so focused on like proving herself. She's making stupid decisions. She's very immature and doing all this unnecessary stuff. I am enjoying it so far.
These episodes,
I really did like it.
These episodes have been an hour each, And
I enjoyed both, honestly.
I think there was just more time. Like, if she's going to be the antagonist of this, which it seems like she is, although I guess Vader's got to come in at some point, but he's probably not going to be the big bad until like the last half of the last episode. If she's going to continue to be the main antagonist, like they're setting her up to be, I think they should have fleshed out her stuff a bit more than they did. I feel like we've gotten like 10 minutes total of like figuring out her drive and like her backstory. And that's because it's always just like on the head. Like they're like, boom, boom, boom.
That's why I think it'll come out that she's actually one of those young Padawan that escaped the academy.
While we're talking about her,
overcompensating right now.
While we're talking about her, and since we just talked about the chase scene, can we talk about her parkour moves? Are you gonna how are you defending that?
I think Leia had the best chase scenes in both episodes. Her parkour was unnecessary.
Not Leia. I'm talking about Reva.
I know. I'm saying Reva's parkour was trash compared to Leia's parkour. When she ducked under that giant little Korra's dog, she ducked under that. Korra's polar bear dog, she ducked under it. Cut to the right real quick. That's like what running backs do. She she gone. I didn't like the parkour. That was like a bad scene to me.
The parkour, and it led to nothing. The parkour was like she just parkoured down, and then it was gone. It's completely pointless. She was like,
she got nowhere.
And then she lands, and it's just like, why? She never caught them doing her parkour shit. Yeah.
And that reminds me, she like read Camille's mind, right?
Yeah.
And she had literally just read Owen's mind when she saw him. When she was like, oh no, you know something. You can read minds. Why don't you just...
Instead, she was like, I'm going to chop off your hand.
Yeah, I'm going to kill him unless somebody says something. What?
This is where I'm at, man. Like, if they want us to sympathize with the character, make their motivations more like, first off, steady. Like, make her stuff steady. Don't have her be a sympathetic character later, because I'm not vibing. And I'm sorry. She threatens to like cut off some dude's hand because he's in the middle of a square not saying anything, and she had no idea if she would say anything. She has a dude clearly she has Kumail clearly standing in front of her at the end, trying to stop her, pretending to be a Jedi, lying to her face. You're going to tell me she's not going to kill him?
Kill him when she's done?
Hello?
I thought he was going to die right there.
I was waiting for him to die. I was like, they're not going to bring Kumail back into this show, but...
He's an Eternal. He's got to point his fingers and blow things up. Yeah. He's got finger guns.
This is the most ambitious crossover of all time. Yeah. Eternals.
Eternals were on wherever planet that was.
I don't know the name of that planet.
At some point. Oh, Marvel, MCU, and Star Wars worlds collide.
Disney owns all of it. So
yes, there is a what was it called? Dag.
We'll get a Simpsons crossover next, I think, is the only logical thing.
I can't remember what the beings that were born in planets are called.
It's Kingdom Hearts. No, Disney already has Kingdom Hearts. Chat's saying it's Kingdom Hearts.
This is the new Kingdom Hearts when Star Wars and Marvel.
All right, we are digressing into something that we are about to not be able to recover from. So you clearly seem to have enjoyed the first two episodes.
Yeah, besides those little things, like I was like, I don't know about this.
What were the little things for you besides
Reva knowing that Anakin is Darth Vader? That seemed like unlikely. That seems like privileged information. And
the chase scenes really didn't bother you.
No, chase scenes did not bother me.
You're wild.
But Obi-Wan's like inability to use the Force at all.
That was so fucking stupid.
Yeah, like you lost all your Force. You were meditating this whole time. I thought you were supposed to be talking to Qui-Gon. What have you been doing for 10 years that you can't even do the basics?
My headcanon was that
Leia.
Leia's a good actress. I think the second episode had me a little bit questioning. There were some parts in there where I was just like, that's not how you should be acting. But other than that, I thought the first episode was like, damn, this little girl is awesome. I will say that my headcanon for why Obi-Wan he was like struggling to use the Force. It seemed like, or at least he was very tumultuous about doing it. He hasn't, I don't think he's been using it for the past 10 years. But
right, and that bothers me because the last thing Yoda said to him was, I'm going to show you how to talk to Qui-Gon, which means that he needs to still be able to use the Force.
That's true.
Why can't you do the basics? And I appreciate that Leia asked him to, all right, if you're a Jedi, show me, like, use the Force.
She's supposed to be smart. Right. He calls her smart, and then she can't figure out why he can't do some shit in the middle of a crowded street. He can't just be like lifting things up around him.
They were in the alley when she asked him that. He could have like levitated a rock just real quick, so she knows like he's a Jedi.
That reminded me of that thing that you had said about Moon Knight. Your biggest critique was like, why don't they just explain? Why don't they just stop and be like, okay, hold the fuck on. I'm a Jedi. Here you go. Boom. That whole chase scene would have been completely unnecessary.
Right. And I think at one point Leia says, like, sometimes when you say the least, you are the most suspicious, something like that. And that's when he's like, you're smart. After he had just finished watching Luke just, I'm on a plane. Yay. So he went from that to
his standards of like smart children in the last 10 years is like idiot boy raised on dirt planet and princess being raised in like high society. So yeah, she's gonna seem smart even if she runs like a goddamn three-legged pig. Like,
you really hate that chase scene.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
we got 4 episodes left. 4 episodes left. It's another short one, but at least these episodes are an hour, for better or for worse. I will say, I think, again, one of the reasons why some of these MCU shows are suffering, because they're trying to cram these things into like 30 minutes. And I get that that's more digestible for a lot of people, but when you have a huge story to tell, you just need more time.
Yeah, you need the time.
You need more time.
I'm excited for this, and I'm a filthy casual when it comes to Star Wars.
We are both filthy casuals, so if anybody in chat wants to come in and be a cameo on Cameos, you know how to reach us. We can make 3 people fit on this screen. I believe we have the technology. Okay, chat has declined. Okay, yep, fair. That's fair.
Only the Greek declined.
Yeah, he was like 50%. I don't know that I want the other 50% in here. All right. We'll be back next week for more. I guess it seems like we're going to be covering Obi-Wan. So
Obi-Wan, definitely. And I
want to talk about some Stranger Things.
No, I refuse to watch it.
What the hell? This season's supposed to be dope. This season's supposed to be the best since the first, is what I'm hearing.
I've never seen a single episode of Stranger Things, and I just don't want to watch it.
I'm
like T-Star, when things are too popular, I just don't want to deal with it. So I refuse.
Wild.
I'm sorry. We got to come with something else. It's like the one show, I just refuse.
Well, at this point, you're like 4 seasons. Each season is like 13 episodes and they're an hour each. Yeah, it's too late for you to jump in, but
yes.
All right, maybe I'll do my own podcast about Stranger Things. Just me talking to myself.
Talk at me about Stranger Things. Explain to me what's going on with Stranger Things.
Oh my god, it would probably be the most hilariously boring thing of all time, and I would butcher the shit out of it. It's about D&D, man. Stranger Things, you could watch it to prep up for D&D. It's all about like the eldritch gods that they play in their Dungeons and Dragons game come to life. Except they're like aliens and multiversal things instead of eldritch gods, but they're based off of D&D shit. I think you should watch it.
Nothing that you said.
I'm watching Super Crooks.
I watched Bo Burnham.
And you didn't like it.
I did like it. I did like it. I just didn't think it was as hilarious as you thought it was, but I did enjoy it.
I like musical comedy, I guess. But yeah. All right. More Obi-Wan to come. More Obi-Wan to come. More shenanigans. We'll hit you. If you guys don't follow us on Twitter, you should do that. And we post stuff on there about our schedule and going live. So we are at Cami_OS. So if you follow us on there, I try to keep it regularly active. Obviously, that's all me saying that shit in there. None of that is Sam. But I try to post, at least give you guys a little bit of heads up when we're going to be going live. If y'all actually want to hang out with us and hear us talk about anything, you know how to hit us up. Make sure we know about it. We're pretty flexible. And with that...
Oh, ping pong, deuces.
We'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for hanging out.